Sears Roebuck & Company is an American mid-range chain of international department stores. Founded by Richard Sears and Alva Roebuck in the late 19th century, it operates in Canada under Sears Canada and Mexico under Sears Mexico. From its mail-order beginnings, the company grew to become the largest retailer in the United States by the mid-20th century, and its catalog became famous. Competition and changes in the demographics of its customer base challenged the company after World War II, as its rural and inner-city shareholding shrank and the suburban market grew. Eventually, its catalog program was largely discontinued. Sears merged with Kmart in early 2005, creating the Sears Holdings Corporation. Alva Curtis Roebuck was a manager, businessman, and the founder of Sears Roebuck & Company with his partner Richard Sears. Roebuck was born in Lafayette, Indiana, and worked as a watchmaker in a Hamden, Indiana jewelry store at the age of 22. On April 1, 1887, Roebuck answered an advertisement for a watchmaker in the Chicago Daily News, and 2 days later he received a reply. Richard W. Sears wanted to hire him. Thus began the association of two men who would soon form one of the world's best-known business partnerships. The firm was incorporated as Sears Roebuck & Company in 1893. In 1895, Roebuck asked Sears to buy him out. However, at Richard Sears' request, he took charge of a division that handled watches, jewelry, optical goods, and later phonographs, magic lanterns, and motion picture machines. His business interests did not end with Sears. He later organized and financed two companies, a manufacturer and a distributor of motion picture machines and accessories. Roebuck also served as president 1909 to 1924 of Emerson Typewriter Company, where he invented an improved typewriter called the Woodstock. After several years in semi-retirement in Florida, the financial losses he suffered in the stock market crash of 1929 forced Roebuck to return to Chicago. By 1933, Roebuck had rejoined Sears Roebuck & Company, where he largely devoted his time to compiling a history of the company he helped found. In September 1934, a Sears store manager asked Roebuck to make a public appearance at his store. After an enthusiastic public turnout, Mr. Roebuck went on tour, appearing at retail stores across the country for the next several years, where he enthusiastically assumed the task of compiling a corporate history until his death on June 18, 1948, at age 84. Richard Warren Sears, born December 7, 1863, in Stewartville, Minnesota, died September 28, 1914, a blacksmith and a wagon maker by trade. Richard Sears was a manager, businessman, and founder of Sears Roebuck & Company with his partner Alva C. Roebuck. He is considered to be one of the greatest American promotional geniuses. Sears entered the workforce at an early age to help supplement his family's income. His father had amassed a reasonable amount of wealth, but subsequently lost it in a stock farm deal. It was in 1886, at age 23, that his career path changed forever. A shipment of gold-filled pocket watches from a Chicago manufacturer was refused by a Minnesota retailer. A common scam existed at the time involving wholesalers who would ship their products to retailers who had not ordered them. Upon refusal, the wholesalers would offer the already price-hiked item to the retailer at a lower consignment cost in the guise of alleviating the cost to ship the item back. The unsuspecting retailer would then agree to take this newfound bargain off the wholesaler's hands, mark up the items, and sell them to the public, making a small profit in the transaction. But in 1886, Edward Stegerson, a retail savvy to the scam, flatly refused the watches. Young Sears jumped at the opportunity and made an agreement with the wholesaler to keep any profits he reaped over $12, and then he would set about offering his ware to other station agents along the railroad line for $14. The watches were considered an item of urban sophistication, and the station agents had no trouble selling them to customers passing by. Within 6 months, Sears netted $5,000 and felt so confident in this venture that he moved to Minneapolis and started the W.R. Sears Watch Company. His promotional efforts soon developed into placing advertisements in farm publications and mailing out flyers to potential clients. From the beginning, it was clear that Sears had a talent for writing promotional copies. He took the personal approach in his ads, speaking directly to rural and small-town communities, persuading them to purchase by mail order. In 1887, Sears moved his company to Chicago, an important transportation center for the Midwest. The same year, he hired watch repairman Alva Curtis Roebuck to handle many of the returns that needed repair. Roebuck was not only Sears' first employee, but he later became co-founder of Sears Roebuck & Company. The Sears Roebuck & Company was officially formed in 1893 when Sears was 30 years old. A few years later, when Roebuck left the growing company, Sears went on with a new business partner, Rosenwald, who became president of the business in 1908 upon Sears' retirement at age 45. The first catalog, published in 1893, consisted of only watches. By 1897, more items were added like men's and ladies' clothing, pillows, plows, silverware, bicicletas, and athletic equipment. The 500-page catalog was sent to approximately 300,000 homes. Sears catered to the rural customers because, having been raised on a farm, he knew what the rural customers needed. He also had experience working with the railroad, and he knew how to ship merchandise to remote areas. In 1908, Sears made another move forward and began to sell mail-order homes through the catalogs. Some years later, Sears retired and moved from Oak Park to Lake Bluff, Illinois, suffering from failing health. He died in 1914 at the age of 50 in Wisconsin of Bright's disease.